course, we got the severe thunderstorm warnings into. There's Fairfax, live picture, 495. It's moving kind of slowly in one direction. It looks to me like no, we still have the tornado warning for Charles County till 4:30. So here's Futurecast, 6 o'clock. It takes these storms and moves them north up toward Frederick and across over toward the bay in Charles County, in St. Mary's County and Calvert County. By 7 o'clock, moves up 95 to Baltimore. By 8 o'clock, up into northeastern Maryland. But notice by 10 o'clock, it tries to fire some more storms back toward Hagerstown. And by midnight, a few more storms, not as heavy, but still some storms possible west of I-81, and then just some light showers overnight. So that's one model. In terms of another model, so this is a local model, at 6 o'clock, similar, this is pretty similar. It has a huge clump of heavy storms up toward Baltimore and north into northeastern Maryland and down into southern Maryland, and even some storms out toward Cumberland as well. Now, this model keeps these storms together at 8 o'clock, okay? Gets rid of the first batch, but has some big-time storms out to Leesburg and Hagerstown. And then by 10 o'clock, still some storms in Montgomery County. Then we get a break by midnight, passing shower overnight. That's about it. So we also have a flood watch in effect for the immediate metro area. That's in green. This means flooding is occurring in the blue. Those are the flash flood warnings. Take that as seriously as our tornado warnings, all right? Do not try to cross the street or a road by car or by foot. It's just not worth it. So our threats today for our weather watch alert: tornado was on the table, hail was on the table, heavy rain was moderate, damaging rains were moderate. And in terms of impacts, well, you need the umbrella, that's high. Games, that would be moderate. Power outages, always on the table, low. And flooding, up to the moderate risk right now. This is something else we look at, the Tornado Threat Index, and we looked at this last Monday, and it wasn't that impressive, but this time it at least has some blue around parts of the metro. There's Eco Night in Bethesda heading toward Alexandria. You see a little bit of rain. The clouds not super dark like they were last Monday, but we'll see if it goes into the storm. Notice also, this is at 7 o'clock tonight, and then by 8 o'clock, the threat is still low. You see the blue? But it's still there. This was not on the map last Monday, even though we were at higher risk. This is troubling. Look at this little area in western Loudoun County, enhanced at 9 o'clock for the possibility of some rotation. By 10 o'clock, it still covers the metro. It's low, but it covers the metro from D.C. to Baltimore. And then by 11 o'clock, begins to move out a little bit and certainly up a higher risk, up 95. They're in yellow. And then look at this risk by 1 o'clock north of Baltimore, up into northeastern Maryland. That is crazy. This is also another ingredient we look for, another parameter. This is the convective available potential energy, CAPE. And it's pretty high. I mean, you see the reds and the green, or the oranges and the yellows. That's pretty high. It's 7 o'clock. And it stays with us even by 8 o'clock. It still has some pretty big threats to us, okay? So that is something that you have to also take into account. This can also produce one of the ingredients for severe weather, if you will. And this goes through 8 o'clock. This is 8 o'clock, and we get into 8:30. We still have a little bit left over, but it kind of moves down to the south. I think it's fair to say after 8 o'clock, things get a little better, but that second model still had some big storms back in toward Fairfax and Loudoun County at 10, 11 o'clock at night.